Friends, we can all see that many white bloggers have millions of followers. Please support me too because my followers are still few. Black bloggers also deserve to be famous. My friends, let's unite and lift each other up. Please press subscribe button and like. In the heart of Manhattan, at the prestigious restaurant, the Grand Horizon, a black waiter named Andre Santos found himself navigating a world of privilege and prejudice. The restaurant was known for its exquisite cuisine and high-profile clientele, where a meal could cost upwards of $500 per person. Andre had been working there for 3 years, relegated to the back tables, far from the spotlight, and often subjected to the disdain of his manager, Mr. Morrison. One evening, as the restaurant buzzed with the chatter of affluent diners, a German couple, Mr. and Mrs. Weber, entered. Mrs. Weber, a petite woman with a nervous demeanor, was struggling to communicate her severe seafood allergy to the head waiter. Andre, who had spent countless hours studying languages at the local library, overheard the commotion. He approached the couple and, in fluent German, reassured Mrs. Weber that he would ensure her meal was safe. The relief on her face was palpable, and as Andre translated her dietary restrictions to Morrison, he felt a flicker of pride. However, Morrison's response was swift and cutting. "Santos, get back to your section. Leave the VIPs to those who know how to handle them," he barked, his condescending tone echoing through the dining room. As Andre returned to his assigned area, he noticed a woman at a nearby table watching the exchange intently. Catherine Wells, a billionaire and CEO of Wells International, had chosen to dine alone that night, observing the dynamics of the restaurant. She had a keen eye for talent and was intrigued by Andre's poise and intelligence. Over the next few weeks, Andre's life at the Grand Horizon became increasingly unbearable. Morrison, threatened by the attention Andre received from customers, began to impose petty humiliations. "Clean table 5 again, Santos," he would order, even when it was spotless. Andre endured the insults silently, documenting each incident in a small notebook hidden in his locker. Catherine, who returned to the restaurant frequently, noticed the pattern of discrimination. She learned from the staff that Andre was not the only victim of Morrison's prejudice. Carmen, a Latina waitress, and David, an Asian American server, shared their experiences of being sidelined and humiliated. It became clear to Andre that Morrison's behavior was systematic, a toxic culture that needed to be dismantled. One fateful evening, a group of Japanese investors arrived for a private dinner. Morrison, eager to impress, ordered Andre to stay in the kitchen, claiming that the guests would be uncomfortable with him serving them. But when the assigned waiter faltered, Andre stepped in, speaking Japanese fluently to assist the guests. Morrison's fury erupted, and he publicly berated Andre, causing a hush to fall over the restaurant. Catherine, witnessing the humiliation, felt a surge of determination. She approached Andre after his shift, introducing herself in German. "I've been watching you, Andre. You have a rare talent and a dignity that this place doesn't deserve," she said, her voice steady. "I want to help you." Catherine revealed her plan to acquire the Grand Horizon, transforming it into a restaurant that celebrated diversity and excellence. "I need someone like you on the inside," she explained. "Document everything. We'll gather evidence against Morrison and expose his discriminatory practices." With a small recording device in hand, Andre began to meticulously document every insult and humiliation. He recorded Morrison's comments, noting the witnesses present. Each day, he grew more resolute, fueled by the injustice he faced. As the weeks passed, Andre's evidence mounted. Catherine, working behind the scenes, prepared for the moment when they would confront Morrison. She had gathered enough information to file a lawsuit against him for labor violations and discrimination. The night of the grand reveal arrived. The restaurant was bustling with guests, including the Japanese investors and influential critics. Morrison, oblivious to the storm brewing, strutted around, boasting about his management skills. Andre, positioned near the sound system, waited for the signal. Catherine approached Morrison, feigning admiration. "Mr. Morrison, your service is exceptional. But I'd love to hear more about your management philosophy," she said, her eyes glinting with purpose. Before he could respond, she activated the sound system, and Morrison's own voice echoed through the restaurant, revealing his prejudiced remarks. Gasps filled the room as guests turned to stare at Morrison, who paled in horror. The recordings played on, detailing his discriminatory comments and abusive orders. The atmosphere shifted from shock to outrage as the guests realized the extent of his behavior. Catherine stood tall, addressing the crowd. "Ladies and gentlemen, I am Catherine Wells, and I am pleased to announce that I have acquired the Grand Horizon. Andre Santos will be your new general manager, bringing a vision of inclusivity and excellence." The applause was thunderous, drowning out Morrison's desperate protests. He was left standing in the center of the room, stripped of his power and of dignity. Andre stepped forward, his voice steady and confident. "Welcome to the new Grand Horizon, where respect and talent are valued above all else." As the guests cheered, Morrison was escorted out, his reputation shattered. Andre had not only reclaimed his dignity but had transformed the restaurant into a beacon of hope and opportunity. Months later, the Grand Horizon flourished under Andre's leadership. The restaurant became renowned for its culinary excellence and commitment to diversity. Andre, now dressed in a tailored suit, walked through the dining room, proud of the team he had built. Catherine watched from her usual table, a satisfied smile on her face. "You did it, Andre," she said, raising her glass in a toast. "You turned adversity into triumph." But as Andre savored his success, he knew that the journey was far from over. The shadows of Morrison's reign still lingered, and the restaurant's transformation was just beginning. Would the changes be enough to heal the wounds of the past, or would the scars of discrimination continue to haunt them? As he pondered these questions, a familiar face entered the restaurant, a former employee who had been wronged by Morrison. Andre felt a surge of determination. This was his chance to not only uplift his own career but to create a ripple effect of change throughout the industry. With a deep breath, he prepared to address the staff, ready to share his vision for a future where everyone had a seat at the table. The moment was ripe for a new beginning, and Andre was ready to lead the charge. Just as he was about to step onto the floor, the restaurant's phone rang, and the caller ID displayed a name that sent a chill down his spine: Morrison. Andre hesitated, the weight of the past pressing heavily on his shoulders. Would this be the moment that defined his future? Would he confront the man who had tried to break him, or would he let the past fade away? Taking a deep breath, Andre answered the call. "Mr. Morrison," he said, his voice steady but laced with tension. "What do you want?" Morrison's voice came through, dripping with false charm. "Andre, I think we need to talk. I believe we can come to an understanding." Andre's heart raced. The man who had belittled him for years was now reaching out, but why? Was it desperation or a ploy to regain control? "I have nothing to discuss with you," Andre replied firmly, feeling the weight of his colleague's eyes on him. "You had your chance, and you squandered it." Morrison's tone shifted, revealing a hint of anger. "You think you can run this place without me? You're in over your head, Santos. You need me." Andre felt a surge of confidence. "No, Mr. Morrison. I don't need you. This restaurant is about to thrive without your toxic influence." The tension in the air was palpable as Andre hung up the phone, his heart pounding. He turned to face his staff, who had gathered around, their expressions a mix of concern and curiosity. "That was Morrison," he announced, his voice steady. "And he thinks he can still control this place. But I'm here to tell you that we are moving forward together." The room erupted in applause, and Andre felt a wave of support wash over him. This was the moment he had been waiting for, a chance to unite his team and build a restaurant that truly reflected their values. But just as he began to outline his vision for the future, the doors swung open, and a group of influential food critics entered, their presence commanding immediate attention. Andre's heart raced again, but this time with excitement. This was an opportunity to showcase the new Grand Horizon. As he prepared to greet the critics, he caught Catherine's eye. She nodded encouragingly, and Andre felt a renewed sense of purpose. He was ready to prove that the restaurant was not just a place to eat but a community where everyone belonged. With a deep breath, he stepped forward, ready to embrace the challenge ahead. But as he approached the critics, he noticed a familiar face among them, one that sent a jolt of recognition through him. It was a former employee who had been wronged by Morrison, and now they were here, standing at the precipice of change. Andre's mind raced. This was not just about him anymore. It was about everyone who had been marginalized and overlooked. He had the chance to create a ripple effect of change that could extend far beyond the walls of the Grand Horizon. As he prepared to speak, he felt the weight of the moment settle on his shoulders. Would he seize this opportunity to redefine the restaurant's legacy, or would he falter under the pressure? The room fell silent, all eyes on him, waiting for his words. André took a deep breath, ready to make his mark, and then, just as he opened his mouth to speak, the lights flickered ominously, plunging the restaurant into darkness. Gasps filled the air, and the atmosphere shifted from anticipation to confusion. What would happen next? Would this unexpected turn of events derail his plans, or would it be the catalyst for something even greater? The tension hung thick in the air, and André stood at the crossroads of his destiny, ready to face whatever came next. Do you want to know the fate of the heroes? Please post part 2. Subscribe to the channel and continue watching. Your opinion and support are important to me. Leave it in the comments. Thank you.